Have you ever tried to convince someone that your way was the right way and their way was the wrong way? Or that your idea was the right idea and their idea was the wrong idea? The harder you pushed, the harder they resisted, the harder they pushed back. So why is that? Well, maybe it's because we want to be right. Why is it that we always feel that there has to be a right and a wrong, that there has to be a winner and a loser? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm your host, Shelly, and I'd like to welcome you to the Make Happiness Happen podcast. Hi, I'm Shelly Covert, and I have a question for you. Are you tired of putting on a fake smile and pretending you're happy when you're really not? Are you ready to stop chasing happiness and create it instead? This world we live in makes us believe we need something newer or bigger or better to be happy. But guess what? That's not real happiness. I'm going to teach you what I've learned about creating real, authentic happiness. So if you're ready to stop faking it and be happy for real, you're in the right place. This is the Make Happiness Happen podcast. Our society has become so competitive that I think we find our value in being right, or in believing that we're right, even when we're not. When we try to convince someone that we're right, we're trying to be the winner. We're trying to feel good about ourselves. But is that always the case? What about the times when our way really is the right way? When our belief or idea really is the right belief or idea? What do we do when the people we love are being lied to or misled? Maybe the answer is found in a ray of sunshine. Are you familiar with the old Aesop fable where the sun and the wind argued over who was stronger? As they were arguing, a traveler who was wearing a cloak passed by. The sun and the wind decided to settle their argument by seeing which one could make him take off his cloak first. The wind tried first. He sent a cold blast of air at the traveler. The harder the wind blew, the tighter the traveler held the cloak to his body. Next was the sun's chance. As the sun began to shine, the traveler began to warm up and loosened his hold on his cloak. As the sun grew warmer, the traveler became warmer, so he unfastened his cloak, and eventually he removed his cloak willingly. In this world that can be cold and blustery, full of uncertainty, fear, and even hate, wouldn't you rather be that ray of sunshine, providing the warmth that makes people feel loved, safe, and secure? So how does this all apply to sharing our ideas and opinions? How does this apply to opening the eyes of those we love and care for, of those who are being lied to and misled? Think of it this way. What if you have a friend whose husband has been cheating on her? What if you have the proof of that infidelity? What if you also know that your friend will never believe you because she trusts her husband completely? Do you just pretend that you don't know? Do you just not tell her? Do you let her continue to be lied to and misled? Or do you find a way to share what you know in a soft, gentle way, instead of in a strong, forceful way? Personally, I think finding a soft, gentle way is the best solution. Think back to the fable. Instead of trying to convince her with brute force, like the wind did, blowing harder and harder to try and remove the traveler's cloak, be like the sun. Be gentle. Show up with love and kindness. Start by asking questions to guide her to the truth. Maybe ask her to trust you. Remind her of how much you care for her. Show up with love and kindness and continue showing her love and kindness the entire time, no matter how she responds to you. And do that until she knows without a doubt that you are there for her, that you are being honest with her, and that you are there to support her no matter what. This concept of the wind versus the sun really applies to almost anything. The more you push people, the more they usually resist. The more you threaten their views and beliefs, the more defensive they become. Instead of being the wind, of trying to change people's minds with brute force, try being the sun. Try being soft and gentle and encouraging. Invite them to listen and consider. Be a warm, safe space to learn and discover. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You're probably thinking, well, Shelly, you've talked about how important the wind is. You've talked about the biosphere too several times on this podcast. And you would be correct. I have talked about the importance of the wind. and how the resistance it creates is vitally important to the growth of plants and trees. And I don't want to diminish what I've said because I still believe 100% in the importance of the wind and the resistance that it creates for the plants and trees. I had lunch yesterday with a really good friend, and we were talking about planting our gardens for this year. I have grow lights in my basement, so I'm thinking of starting my plants from seeds. So we talked a little bit about that too. It kind of reminded me of a few things that my mom has shared with me about starting plants inside. The first is the importance of being able to adjust the height of the lights, because if you have the grow lights too far away from the plant will grow really tall and spindly because it wants to reach the light. Think about that. The plant wants to be close to the sun. It craves the sun. Just another reminder of the importance of the sun and the warmth it provides. If you are able to keep the lights closer to the plant, the stalk will grow bigger in diameter, which usually means it will be stronger. It doesn't need to stretch for the sun, so it's not as spindly. It's just a better plant. The second thing goes back to the importance of the wind. One year, my mom tried to grow a tomato plant inside during the winter. She had it under a grow light and watered it and talked to it and encouraged it. If you know a plant lover, you can totally picture what I'm saying here. But even with all of that, the tomato plant wasn't doing well. That's when Mom decided to put a fan in the room to create some wind resistance for the tomato plant, and that made all the difference. This just goes to show that both the sun and the wind are vitally important. Plants and trees need both to survive. Remember, in the biosphere, the trees would grow to a certain height and then fall down because there was no wind. They needed that resistance to become stronger. They needed that resistance for their roots to go down deep and support the tree. We also need both the sun and the wind to survive. The wind in our life, the resistance in our life, helps us grow and change. We need that resistance to become stronger. There have been times in my life when I've prayed for the resistance to be taken away, for the challenges to just disappear. But if that had happened, I wouldn't be as strong as I am today. In addition to the wind, to the resistance, we also need the sun. We need the warmth it provides to help us feel loved, safe, and secure. The important part here is that there needs to be a balance between the two. There needs to be a balance between the sun and the wind. The plants and trees need both to thrive, and so do we. In order to flourish, to be the best we can be, we need a balance between the sun and the wind. Think about what happens on a cold and windy day. Is that the kind of day you're excited to spend time outside, or would you rather be inside all bundled up and warm? Now, I know on those cold winter days, when I see someone who's working out in that weather, I'm always so very grateful that I get to work inside. At night, when I'm sleeping in bed and I hear the sound of the blustery cold wind, honestly makes me feel a little anxious. Think about how cold and blustery days are portrayed in the movies. They usually have a blue tint to them, and they have this sad and dreary feeling. Now think about what happens on a warm and sunny day. You're probably going to find more people outside. I live close to an elementary school, and on the warm and sunny days, I can hear the kids playing at recess. On warm and sunny days, people want to be outside. They want to soak up the rays. They want to play in the sun. Think about the movies again. Warm and sunny days, they make me think of people laughing and smiling and hanging out at the beach. They just feel brighter and happier. Now, you may not agree with me on this, but I think we need both the cold, windy days and the warm, sunny days in our life. I really do believe we need a balance of both. The bad times in life, those cold, windy days, are what creates strength and resiliency. The good times in life, the warm, sunny days, are what brings happiness. But here's the catch. The bad times help the good times feel even better. We appreciate the good times even more because we've survived the bad times. So the cold, windy days make the warm, sunny days even more sweet. So what does this all have to do with sharing our beliefs and views and encouraging people to see our side of things? What does this all have to do with that friend whose husband is cheating on her? Well, to help her survive and thrive, you need to find a balance between the wind and the sun. Start with the sun. Provide comfort and warmth so she knows that with you, she is safe and secure. Then, when it comes time to helping her accept the cold, hard truth, come in like a gentle breeze instead of a cold, blustery wind. Be kind, be gentle, be loving, be understanding. So the next time you're talking with a friend, the next time you're supporting someone or encouraging someone or sharing your views with someone, Choose to be a ray of sunshine instead of a cold, blustery wind. It really can make all the difference. Until next time, my friends, choose to be happy. As always, thank you so much for tuning into the Make Happiness Happen podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts. And even better, leave a positive review. If you want to dive deeper into the topics and discussions we have here, I would encourage you to head over to makehappinesshappen.com and sign up for my newsletter. It's the best way for us to get to know each other even better. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time on the Make Happiness Happen podcast.